In today's gospel, we meet two women, Elizabeth and Mary. Both are pregnant. Both are living a life of excitement and a life of mystery. God has told them that they will bear sons that will be great. Now, these are not ordinary pregnancies. While Mary is a virgin, Elizabeth is beyond the age of childbearing. So both women must view their pregnancy with both fear and joy. But they both believe that God is responsible for their condition, so their pregnancy must be miraculous. Luke opens his story with Elizabeth's husband, Zachariah, a priest, going about his duties in the temple. And he suddenly had a vision. An angel is talking to him. The angel tells him a totally unexpected and unbelievable message. Zachariah's wife, Elizabeth, who's been barren for many years, is pregnant and will bear a son. We don't get to know Zachariah very well. Luke's story is built around Elizabeth and Mary, but he doesn't waste any time getting to it either. We meet John's mother, Elizabeth, in verse 5 of chapter 1. Mary arrived just 20 verses later. The reader of Luke's story can easily begin to wonder why this early focus on these two ladies. Just where is Luke leading us? Something very important is going on. So let me set the stage a bit. Both Zachariah and his wife Elizabeth are getting on in ages, in years. As Elizabeth is unable to become pregnant, both her husband's future and hers, like that of all Judea, is bleak. In addition to the emotional pain of being childless, they're forced to live under cruel Roman rule. There are very dangerous Roman soldiers roaming about, and ugly pagan idols all over the place. The message from the angel to Zachariah and Elizabeth brings a very sweet taste to them, a taste of hope, hope in the future. Elizabeth, it turns out, is not barren at all. A son will soon join them. Today we know him as John the Baptist. John will play a major role in bringing new life, not only to Zachariah and Elizabeth, but also to the entire world. In the verses just preceding the gospel lesson that I read, a similar promise is made of a miraculous birth to Mary. She too will bear a son. Her son will play a much larger role than John in God's drama. Mary's son, Jesus, will sit on the throne of David, Israel's greatest hero. Out of Jesus will come a kingdom that will last forever. Mary, as a virgin, fully realizes the impossibility of all that's happening. And amazingly, she still believes the angel. There's an interesting discontinuity in Luke's story. There's a huge contrast between Mary, a young girl, maybe a teenager, and Elizabeth, a mature, older lady. So one can wonder, why does God choose Elizabeth to bear John? Wouldn't a younger woman be a kind of a safer choice? The answer to that question, let us play around with this thought. Could it be that Elizabeth's pregnancy is intended by God to be a sign that huge changes are afoot, changes that will impact the entire world forever, changes that will soon begin? John will be the last of the long list of prophets. In a real sense, Elizabeth represents the past, and Mary is bearing the blessings of the future. Through Jesus, the future of all humanity will take on a new, very fruitful, exciting, and much different course. In my Bible, today's readings were given useful titles. For example, the first part of today's gospel is entitled, Mary Visits Elizabeth. A few paragraphs later, the title is, Mary's song of praise, which later became known as the Magnificat. The Magnificat picks up an Old Testament understanding that those who are powerful and secure by human standards are not, by God's standards, really powerful or secure. Mary's song of praise affirms that God's radical truth will be unfolded in the teachings and life of Jesus, the yet unborn Son of God. Jesus will become the enemy of the oppressive power structures of the world. Jesus will call cruel kings and rulers to accountability. And Jesus will also call God's people to be powerful in feeding of the hungry, clothing the naked, healing the sick, bringing justice to the world. The birth of John and Jesus brought a major change in humanity's relationship with the divine. Mary's song was a powerful affirmation that God will soon be intensely involved in the affairs of the people of this world. We are correct to expect God to continue to be involved in the future of St. Paul. That thought excites me. It makes me want to hang around a bit longer than maybe my genes will survive or provide. So I'm eager to see and experience the blessings that God has in store for you and me in our church in 2016. Amen.